What if you could turn a modest porch, a tiny balcony, or a small backyard patch into a food powerhouse that outproduces a mature apple or peach tree? What if the secret to massive yields per square foot, per dollar, and per hour of work lies not in towering orchards, but in compact, low-growing plants that most gardeners overlook? Imagine harvesting fresh, nutrient-dense produce every week without ever stepping outside a 10-square-foot footprint. Below are 20 tiny, yet incredibly productive plants that prove this idea works, from the humble strawberry runner to the endlessly harvesting green onion clump. Each entry includes planting tips, harvest timing, nutritional highlights, and examples of how home gardeners have turned these species into reliable pantry staples. Number 20. Green onions and chives, the harvest that never ends. Green onions, also called scallions, and chives are perennial allium champions that keep coming back year after year with almost no maintenance. Plant them densely in a raised bed, a wide container, or directly in the garden soil. For green onions, sow the seeds about a 1/4 inch deep and space them a 1/2 inch apart. They will form a thick mat of slender shoots that shade the soil and suppress weeds. As the tops reach 4 to 6 inches, cut them just above the soil line, leaving the base intact. Within a week, the regrowth appears, ready for another harvest. Chives behave the same way. A foot-wide clump, harvested every 10 days, supplies fresh onion-flavored herbs for soups, sauces, and salads throughout the entire growing season. Because both species are cut and come again, the same planting can provide a continuous supply of fresh flavor for months on end, all from a space no larger than a coffee table. Their low profile and minimal water needs make them perfect for windowsill gardens, balcony containers, or the edge of a vegetable plot. In addition, the sulfur compounds in alliums have been shown to boost immune function, so regular consumption adds a health benefit beyond culinary convenience. Number 19. Swiss chard, the months-long greens machine. Swiss chard, Beta vulgaris subspecies Cichla, is a heat-tolerant, cut-and-come-again leafy vegetable that thrives from early summer right through the first hard frost. Plant the seeds 1/2 inch deep, spacing rows 12 inches apart, and thin seedlings to 4 inches apart once they develop true leaves. The plant's broad, glossy leaves and vibrant, rainbow-colored stems turn any garden bed into a visual feast while delivering nutritious greens rich in vitamins A, K, and C, as well as magnesium and potassium. Harvest the outer leaves first, cutting them just above the crown, and the plant will keep producing new foliage for 3 to 5 months. Unlike kale, chard tolerates the summer heat better, maintaining tender leaves even when temperatures climb above 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 degrees Celsius. The stems themselves are edible and add a mild, beet-like sweetness to sautés and stir-fries. They can also be pickled for a tangy condiment. A single 4-foot row can supply a family with fresh greens multiple times per week, making chard a cornerstone of any productive kitchen garden and a reliable source of antioxidants during heat waves when other greens bolt. Number 18. Beets. 2 crops from one plant beets, Beta vulgaris, offer a true 2-for-1 harvest. Sweet, earthy roots and nutrient-dense leafy greens. Direct seed the garden in early spring, spacing seeds 2 inches apart in rows 12 inches apart. Thin seedlings to 4 inches apart, using the thinned seedlings as microgreens. A quick peppery snack in just a week that can be tossed into salads or used as a garnish. As the plants mature, harvest the tender outer leaves throughout the season. These leaves contain vitamins A, C, and K, plus calcium and iron, making them a valuable addition to a wintertime diet. Then pull the roots when they reach 2 to 3 inches in diameter, typically 50 to 60 days after sowing. The roots store exceptionally well in a cool, dark cellar, extending your food supply well into winter. Beets also tolerate light frost, which can actually improve their flavor by converting stored starches into sugars, giving a sweeter bite after a cold night. Plant a second succession in late summer for a fall harvest that stores nicely for the colder months. Their deep red color, high antioxidant content, especially betalains, and the versatility of both root and leaf make beets an indispensable dual-purpose crop for gardeners seeking both culinary variety and storage stability. Number 17. Lettuce, cut-and-come-again varieties, the fastest return. Loose-leaf lettuce, Lactuca sativa, varieties such as Buttercrunch, black-seeded Simpson, and red sales are the quickest way to turn a seed packet into fresh salad greens. Sow seeds thinly in a shallow tray or directly in the garden, covering them with a fine layer of soil and keeping the surface consistently moist. Within 3 to 4 weeks, the first harvestable leaves appear, often with a crisp texture that rivals store-bought lettuce. Cut the outer leaves about an inch above the crown, leaving the central growing point untouched. The plant will keep producing new leaves for 4 to 6 weeks, after which you can sow a fresh batch to maintain continuous production. Because lettuce thrives in cool weather, you can grow successive plantings throughout spring and fall, ensuring a steady supply of crisp, vitamin-rich greens that provide up to 15% of the daily recommended intake of vitamin A per serving. A single 10-inch pot can feed a family's salad needs for an entire week, demonstrating that even the smallest garden space can yield a surprisingly large amount of fresh food. For added flavor, interplant lettuce with radish seedlings. The radish's quick growth loosens the soil, and the lettuce shades the radish roots, creating a mutually beneficial micro-garden. Number 16. Kale, the plant that never stops. Kale, Brassica oleracea variety Acaphala, is a cold-hardy, cut-and-come-again leafy green that can produce for months on end. Sow seeds early in spring, spacing them 12 inches apart and thin to 1 plant per spot. As the plant matures, harvest the outer leaves by cutting them at the base, always leaving the central bud intact to encourage regrowth. In mild climates, kale will keep producing fresh leaves well into winter, and in colder zones, it can survive light freezes, regrowing fresh foliage after each frost, a phenomenon known as vernalization that actually enhances the plant's taste, making it sweeter after a chill. The nutrient profile of kale is among the highest of any vegetable, boasting abundant vitamins A, C, K, and minerals such as calcium, iron, and potassium. Its glucosinolate compounds have been linked to cancer-preventive properties. Its robustness against pests and diseases, especially the cabbage looper and aphids, makes it a low-maintenance staple for any food-secure garden. For gardeners with limited space, planting kale in a deep container allows you to harvest vertically, pulling down leaves as needed without disturbing the root system. Number 15. Malabar Spinach, the heat season leaf factory. Malabar spinach, Bacella alba, is a tropical vine that thrives when temperatures exceed 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 27 degrees Celsius, a condition that wilts true spinach. Plant seedlings or start seeds indoors 4 to 6 weeks before the last frost. Then transplant them after the soil has warmed to at least 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. Provide a sturdy trellis or fence for the vines to climb. Each plant can sprawl 8 to 10 feet in a single season, producing glossy, succulent leaves that are rich in vitamins A and C, calcium, and iron. Harvest the leaves continuously, cutting them just above a node to encourage new growth and prevent the vines from becoming too leggy. Because the plant keeps producing as long as temperatures remain warm and moisture is adequate, it fills the seasonal gap when other greens have bolted or become bitter. In humid regions, the leaves can be used fresh in salads, stir-fries, or as a wrap for Asian-style fillings, while in drier climates, they are often blanched and frozen for later use. Malabar spinach is especially valuable in regions with long, hot summers, offering a reliable source of fresh leafy greens when most other vegetables are dormant, and its rapid growth, up to 1 inch per day, makes it a favorite among small space growers. Number 14. Cucumbers trellised, the explosive vine cucumber, Cucumis sativus, vines trained on a vertical trellis, transform a modest 6 by 6 foot area into a prolific fruiting machine. Plant seeds or transplants at the base of a sturdy trellis, spacing them 12 inches apart and mulching heavily to retain moisture and discourage cucumber beetles. Provide steady moisture. Cucumbers need about 1 inch of water per week and a steady supply of fertilizer rich in potassium to encourage rapid fruit set. Harvest cucumbers when they are 4 to 6 inches long. The sooner you pick, the more the plant will continue to produce, as each fruit's removal stimulates the plant to send out new flowers. A single trellis can yield dozens of cucumbers each week during peak season, delivering a hydrating, low-calorie snack that also helps cool the garden with its high water content, over 95%. The vertical growth habit keeps fruit off the ground, reducing disease pressure from soil-borne pathogens and making harvest easier for those with limited mobility. For added flavor, interplant basil or dill along the trellis. The aromatic herbs deter cucumber beetles and improve the taste of the harvested fruit. Number 13. Cherry tomatoes, the hundreds of fruits, plant. Cherry tomato, Solanum lycopersicum, indeterminate varieties such as sun gold, black cherry, and sweet million can produce hundreds of tiny bursting fruits on a single plant. Start seeds indoors 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost. Then transplant seedlings into a sunny spot with support stakes or cages that allow the vines to climb. Feed the plants with a balanced fertilizer, 10-10-10, and keep the soil consistently moist, using drip irrigation to avoid splashing water on foliage, which can spread fungal diseases. As the vines grow, they will continue to set fruit throughout the season, often yielding several pounds of tomatoes each week. Because the fruit matures quickly, often within 55 to 70 days from transplant, the plant can provide a continuous harvest from early summer until the first frost. The high sugar content and intense flavor of cherry tomatoes make them a favorite for snacking, salads, and sauces, and their prolific output often exceeds that of dwarf fruit trees in a fraction of the time. Additionally, cherry tomatoes are rich in lycopene, an antioxidant linked to reduced risk of heart disease and certain cancers, making each bite a nutritional boost. Number 12. Peas, heavy production in cool seasons. Peas, Pisum sativum, come in 3 main types: sugar snap peas, snow peas, and shelling peas, each offering a different culinary use. Direct seed peas as soon as the soil can be worked in early spring, spacing rows 18 to 24 inches apart, and thinning seedlings to 2 inches apart to allow for vigorous climbing. Provide a trellis or netting for the vines to climb, which maximizes vertical space and improves air circulation, reducing the incidence of powdery mildew. Peas fix atmospheric nitrogen through a symbiotic relationship with rhizobium bacteria in their root nodules, enriching the soil for subsequent crops and reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers. A well-managed pea trellis can deliver a steady stream of sweet, crisp pods for 8 to 10 weeks before the heat of summer forces the plants to set seed. The early season harvest fills a critical gap in food production when many other crops are still dormant, making peas an essential component of a year-round garden plan. For added variety, interplant carrots or radishes beneath the pea vines. The shallow-rooted vegetables benefit from the shade, and the peas benefit from the loosened soil. Number 11. Pole beans, the vertical protein factory. Pole beans, Phaseolus vulgaris, are climbing legumes that fix nitrogen and produce a continuous supply of protein-rich beans throughout the warm months. Plant seeds at the base of a sturdy trellis or pole, spacing them 4 to 6 inches apart, and sow them about 1 inch deep. As the vines climb, they create a dense canopy that maximizes use of vertical space while shading the soil, which reduces weed pressure and conserves moisture. Regular harvesting, picking beans when they are 4 to 6 inches long, encourages the plant to keep producing new pods rather than diverting energy into seed development. In a 6 by 8 foot trellis area, a single row of pole beans can provide enough beans for a family's protein needs for several weeks, each harvest delivering fresh beans that are high in fiber, iron, and essential amino acids. Their ability to improve soil fertility while delivering a high-yielding food crop makes them a cornerstone of sustainable, space-efficient gardening. For extra yield, stagger planting dates every 2 weeks. This extends the harvest window by several weeks, ensuring a steady supply well into the fall. Number 10. Sea buckthorn, compact varieties. The orange gold, sea buckthorn, Hippophae rhamnoids, compact cultivars, produce bright orange berries that are exceptionally rich in vitamin C, up to 10 times the amount found in oranges, vitamin E, and omega-7 fatty acids, a rare nutrient prized for skin health and cardiovascular benefits. Plant male and female shrubs in a sunny location with well-draining soil. A single male can pollinate several females, simplifying orchard design. The dense clusters of berries weigh down the slender branches, making harvest a matter of gently shaking the canes or using a small rake. One mature compact shrub can yield several kilograms of berries in a good year, providing a source of juice, syrups, and preserves that are prized for their health-boosting properties. The berries are tart when fresh but become sweet and aromatic when processed, and the oil extracted from the seeds is a valuable culinary and cosmetic ingredient used in dressings, marinades, and skincare products. Sea buckthorn's ability to thrive on marginal soils, its drought tolerance, and its low maintenance needs make it a hidden gem for gardeners seeking high nutrient output from limited space, especially in regions with poor sandy soils where other fruit crops struggle. Number 9. Aronia, chokeberry. The superfood shrub Aronia melanocarpa, commonly called chokeberry, forms massive clusters of dark purple berries that are among the most antioxidant-rich fruits on the planet, containing up to 30 milligrams of anthocyanins per gram of fresh fruit. Plant the shrubs in full sun to partial shade, spacing them 6 to 8 feet apart to allow for their mature spread. Once established, a mature Aronia bush can produce 15 to 30 pounds of berries annually, even on poor, heavy clay soils where many other fruiting plants fail. The raw berries are intensely astringent, but when cooked, juiced, or dried, they become sweet, tangy, and highly nutritious, making them ideal for jams, sauces, and health-focused smoothies. Their high anthocyanin content has turned Aronia into a popular ingredient in health-focused powders and supplements. Yet a backyard grower can obtain the same benefits by harvesting the fresh fruit. The shrub's deep root system also makes it an excellent windbreak or erosion control plant, providing both ecological and nutritional value. For added winter interest, the foliage turns a striking copper-red hue in the fall, extending the ornamental appeal of the plant beyond the fruiting season. Number 8. Lingonberries, the evergreen berry machine. Lingonberry, Vaccinium vitis innae, is a low-lying evergreen shrub native to subarctic regions, producing tiny bright red berries in late summer and again in early fall. The plants grow 6 to 12 inches tall, making them ideal for ground cover plantings in acidic soils similar to those preferred by blueberries. Plant them in a dense mat, spacing plants 12 to 18 inches apart, and allow the underground runners to spread slowly, filling the area over time while suppressing weeds. The berries are tart, with a flavor profile sharper than cranberry yet more complex, pairing beautifully with game meats, rich cheeses, and traditional Scandinavian dishes such as lingonberry jam served with meatballs. A 4-square-foot bed can yield several pounds of berries per season, providing a reliable source of vitamin C and antioxidants. Their evergreen foliage adds year-round visual interest, while the low-maintenance habit makes them perfect for gardeners seeking a perennial fruit that requires minimal attention. In colder climates, lingonberries can survive temperatures down to -40 degrees Celsius, -40 degrees Fahrenheit, making them a resilient choice for northern gardeners. Number 7. Honeyberries, Haskap, the first fruit of spring. Honeyberry, Lonicera caerulea, also known as Haskap, is a cold, hardy shrub that ripens before most other berries, often in late May, providing one of the earliest fresh fruit harvests of the year. Plant 2 or more compatible varieties for cross-pollination, spacing them 3 to 4 feet apart, and orient the rows north-south to maximize sun exposure. The elongated deep blue berries have a flavor that blends the sweetness of blueberries with the tartness of raspberries and a subtle floral note, making them a versatile ingredient for pies, yogurts, and sauces. Some cultivars tolerate temperatures below 40 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, making them ideal for northern gardens where other berries struggle. Once established, the shrubs produce a reliable harvest each spring for decades, with minimal pruning required, usually just a light thinning after fruiting to maintain airflow. The early season fruit provides a fresh, homegrown snack when few other fresh options are available, extending the productive window of the garden and offering a morale-boosting early summer treat. Number 6. Gooseberries, high density, high reward. Gooseberry, Ribes uva crispa. Shrubs are compact, thornless varieties such as Pixwell and Captivator that produce abundant clusters of tart-sweet berries. Plant them in partially shaded locations with well-drained loam, spacing each bush 3 to 4 feet apart to allow for a tidy, high-density planting. Each mature bush can yield 5 to 10 pounds of fruit annually, with the berries hanging in dense, decorative clusters that resemble a festive garland. Gooseberries tolerate heavy clay soils and are cold-hardy, thriving even in regions with harsh winters where many other fruiting shrubs fail. Their flavor is bright and complex, offering a unique taste that is rarely found in commercial markets, making them prized by artisanal jam makers and chefs who seek a distinctive tang. The shrubs also serve as attractive ornamental plants, providing year-round structure and seasonal interest in the garden. The foliage emerges bright green in spring, deepens to a rich amber in fall, and the canes persist through winter, adding texture to the landscape. Number 5. Currants, the forgotten superfood, hedge currants, Ribes rubrum for red, Ribes nigrum for black, are small, deciduous shrubs that produce a prolific harvest of nutrient-dense berries. Plant them as a dense hedge, spacing plants 2 to 3 feet apart, and they will form a living fence that yields 4 to 10 pounds of fruit per bush each year, while also providing privacy and wind protection. Black currants, in particular, contain vitamin C levels far exceeding those of oranges, up to 200 milligrams per 100 grams of fresh fruit, making them a powerhouse for immune support. Their deep, earthy flavor is prized in jams, sauces, and traditional European desserts such as cassis liqueur and blackcurrant jelly. The plants are disease-resistant, tolerant of partial shade, and require little pruning beyond occasional thinning to maintain airflow and prevent mildew. Once established, a row of currants can provide both food and privacy, making them an undervalued asset for any sustainable garden that seeks to combine edible production with functional landscaping. Number 4. Blueberries, the patient reward. Blueberry, Vaccinium corymbosum, bushes demand acidic soil, pH 4.5 to 5.5, and several years of patience before reaching full production, typically 5 to 7 years. Amend the soil with peat, pine needles, or elemental sulfur to achieve the required acidity, or grow the plants in raised beds or large containers filled with an acidic mix. Plant at least 2 compatible varieties to ensure cross-pollination, selecting early, mid-season, and late-season cultivars to extend the harvest over a 6 to 8 week period. A mature bush, standing 4 feet tall and 3 feet wide, can yield 10 to 20 pounds of berries annually, translating to a high yield per square foot compared to large fruit trees. The long-lived nature of blueberries means that once the plants are established, they will provide a dependable, antioxidant-rich harvest for decades, rewarding gardeners who invested the time and effort early on. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, which have been linked to improved cognitive function and cardiovascular health, turning each handful into a functional food. For gardeners with limited space, dwarf varieties such as jelly bean can be grown in containers, allowing the same high-value fruit to be produced on a balcony or patio. Number 3. Blackberries, the unstoppable producer blackberry, Rubus fruticosus. Thornless cultivars such as Triple Crown and Chester produce 2 to 3 pounds of fruit per plant annually under good conditions, and often much more in optimal sites with deep, well-drained soil. The canes root wherever they touch the soil, creating a spreading network that can fill a garden bed quickly, and they tolerate poor soils, partial shade, and require minimal pruning once the canes are trained on a trellis or simple support system. The fruit is large, sweet, and juicy, making it ideal for fresh eating, baking, and preserves. Because the plants are low maintenance and highly productive, they serve as an excellent food security crop for gardeners who want a high-yield berry without the intensive care often associated with raspberries. In addition, blackberry canes provide seasonal shelter for beneficial insects, and the leaves can be used to make a tea that helps control diarrhea, adding another layer of utility to the plant. Number 2. Raspberries, the vertical yield machine. Raspberry, Rubus idaeus, canes grow tall and upright, allowing growers to pack them densely in narrow rows or on trellises. The plant's 2-year cane cycle, primocanes in year 1 and floricanes in year 2, means that after the initial establishment period, a well-managed patch can produce heavily for many years with little input. Summer-bearing varieties provide a single large harvest, while fall-bearing, ever-bearing types extend the season into autumn, giving a second, smaller crop. Plant bare-root canes in early spring, and you can expect meaningful yields within 18 months, far outpacing the years required for fruit trees to begin production. The thorny nature of many varieties is mitigated by modern thornless selections, making raspberries a practical, high-yield choice for small-space growers. Raspberries are rich in dietary fiber, vitamin C, and the antioxidant ellagic acid, which has been studied for its anti-cancer properties. Interplanting with nitrogen-fixing clover can improve soil fertility and reduce the need for additional fertilizers. Number 1. Strawberries, the plant that multiplies itself. Strawberries, Fragaria cross ananassa, are the ultimate propagating fruit. A single plant can produce around 3 pounds of berries in its first season, and then send out runners that root and become independent plants without any human intervention. Those runners can turn one plant into 5, those 5 into 25, and so on, creating a dense carpet of fruiting plants that both produce berries and generate more producers. Choose June-bearing varieties for a single, abundant flush in early summer, or opt for ever-bearing types that provide continuous, smaller harvests throughout the season. The rapid fruiting, automatic propagation, and high per-square-foot yield make strawberries a cornerstone of any garden focused on maximizing food output in limited space. For added resilience, plant different cultivars with staggered fruiting times. This spreads the harvest over several weeks and reduces the risk of a total loss from a single disease outbreak. Strawberries also benefit from mulch made of straw or pine needles, which conserves moisture, suppresses weeds, and helps keep the fruit clean. Their high vitamin C and manganese content, plus the presence of folate, make them a nutritionally valuable snack. These 20 compact, high-yielding plants demonstrate that you don't need a sprawling orchard to achieve food security. By embracing the humble strawberry runner, the early-season honeyberry, the vertical power of pole beans, and the endless harvest of green onions, you can transform a modest garden plot into a resilient, productive food source that feeds a family year-round. What if you start planting these 20 powerhouse species today? Your porch, balcony, or tiny backyard could become a year-round pantry, delivering fresh, nutritious food far beyond what a single fruit tree could ever provide. Imagine opening a window to a garden that supplies salads, soups, sauces, snacks, and even preserves without ever leaving home. If you found this guide helpful, please like the video, share it with fellow gardeners, and subscribe for more tips on growing more food in less space. Your support helps us keep spreading the knowledge that turns small spaces into big harvests.